When you'll see it when you're almost 50, like me, you get out of bed, the first thing that wants to move is only your knees, and your hips are like, oh, I don't want to move. Just shows you gotta move your hips, first step to the last step. So again, keep pulling yourself into the hinge, get that anterior core on the whole time, cylinders equally supported the whole way around. 1 or 2 more. Each time try and pull yourself down just a little bit farther. Still feeling that ball of foot emphasis no matter where you are in this range of motion. All right, take that same hinging motion, feet out nice and wide. Start tilting that pelvis again, but now we are allowing our knee to bend. And as always, we know the parameters of the squats. We initiate that movement from our hips, putting our hip into a nice big hinge. And as we're hinging, we're still feeling the emphasis of the ball of the foot. And as we're going through the whole range of motion, our spine is directly connected to our hips, our pelvis, and there is zero independent movement of our spine. So fighting that one to let your chest drop, to let your head drop, to let your spine change its natural shape. Back to normal squat stance. Your feet are a little wider than shoulder width. Feet are still straight as head as much as possible. And pull yourself into that squat. Keep those hands on that hip and see if you can get that nice pinch between your hip bone and your thigh, the top of your thigh. And as you're doing that, check in, see if you got that psoas on. So the way to see if your psoas is on, if you find that bony protuberance in the front of your hip, that anterior superior iliac spine, if you take your index finger and put your second knuckle on that, so now your pointer finger, the point of that index finger is in towards the midline. If you press in right there, so about roughly 1.5 inches, 2 inches in, and you push down, you'll feel your psoas. That's where it kind of traces through. So try and feel that stuff connect and try and pull yourself down from that area. All right, just take your feet into that alternating lunge. Keep that thought of being psoas dominant on that, pulling yourself into your squat. That cylinder is equally on the whole way around. Back leg is doing nothing. One arm is reaching towards the ceiling, the other one's reaching towards the floor. Getting a nice extension of your spine. What's that?
You always have a good sock game.
Sock game?
You're always rocking the good socks.
Yeah. Gotta cover up this calf, you know? 1 or 2 more on these. Look at them, like patriotic right now. I got red, white, and blue on. Wore my San Diego Viores shorts.
Woo!
San Diego?
Yeah. Alon's husband.
All right, let's get you guys on the ground, fingers facing behind you. Let's get those shoulders activated. Let's get those glutes and that whole posterior part of our body turned on even more. So as always, remember as we do this, our goal is to press our body up away from the floor with both our lower body and our upper body. So get those shoulders to activate. Externally rotate those shoulders so your arms are rotating in a fashion that opens up your chest. There's not one single thing we'll have you do here where you're loading in a closed, internally rotated kind of Cro-Magnon Schmiegel position. I always like Schmiegel, it's just such a great one for good. No, look at the Schmiegel. Alright, so after you finish this 5 going straight up, straight down, right arm's on the floor, left arm is going across your body. As always, trying to separate that upper and lower body as much as you can. And as always, keeping that supporting arm, pressing your body away as you're externally rotating it through the floor. So if your left arm's on the floor, the external rotation is in a counterclockwise fashion. If your right hand is on the floor, that external rotation is in a clockwise fashion. After you do your 5 going across, we're going to back to the right arm. We'll do the one where that reaching hand is going towards that supporting hand, so you're getting more extension out of your spine. But regardless, the same parameters apply, meaning hips go up towards the ceiling as high as you can. The arm that's on the floor is pressing your body away from the floor as much as you can. Externally rotating that shoulder so that scapula presses in towards your rib cage as much as you can. And get as much height as you possibly can get, all while focusing on that breath. Because you're gonna have to have it at some point today because that sensation is gonna creep in. So once you finish that, let's get you on your feet. Oh, sorry. Let's get you on your feet. Move those shoulder blades around. Now you got fully showered. All right, so keep going across your body for a little bit, and we'll take those up and over. So I think I said this in the beginning, but we were doing our cadence day today. I did, right? Mm-hmm. Memory. So last 2 times we did cadence, we did some really, really slow cadences. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a break today. Only that first set of each exercise is going to be slow. There's not really any significant holds today because we're going to go more just higher acidosis type work. This workout's called the Jack and Ready, obviously.
Beach day.
All right, so I will just go over that first exercise really quick. So it is going to be a step up. I should have said this in the very beginning, but I'm going to take a little break here because we need a step or a box or something like that that's roughly 10 to 15 inches of height. So as you're getting that, I will just kind of go through the mechanics of this movement. And if you do have rubber bands at home, if you have one of these kits, you can use this as added resistance besides just your body weight. So the way this works, once you get your step, if you are going to use the rubber, you will place that ideally under the ball of the foot of that front leg. You will fold that thing in half, and obviously the lower you grab on the rubber band, the more stretch you're going to get out of that rubber band as you stand up. The more stretch you get out of that rubber band, the more intense it's going to be. So find what works for you, and as we do this, as always, we're going to let go of that so I can give you more of a detailed analysis. How you doing? You put music on?
I was trying to.
Yeah, we're supposed to not have music.
Oh, sorry.
I know.
Okay.
I know, it's kind of lame, but we were told
us. We're together.
I know, it's just weird. So, back to this guy. Like always in a step up, our goal is to keep that load on that front leg as much as we possibly can. That back leg is doing pretty much nothing the entire time. So, in order to do so, I need to keep my center of mass over top of that front foot as much as possible. So, having that intent of pulling myself down from my toes like we did in that warm-up, stay low over that ball of the foot, and then the goal is to drive through that ball of the foot, bring that pelvis back to level as you extend up out of your knee. So the way this is going to work, we've got 1 minute for our first set. That first set, like I said, that's going to be the one that's slow. We're going to descend for a 3 count, tiny little like half-second pause, and then up for 1. So descend for 3, really control your descent, focus on what is actually pulling you into that squat, which is your squats. And then you pause for a split second, and then we go. So we're going to start in about 5 seconds here. Again, that first set, slow descent. And if you want that rubber band for resistance, I'm going to make Nora do it. She doesn't have a choice.
I forgot about that.
You step on it right around that ball of the foot, or maybe even your arch. But regardless, find the intensity that works for you. If it's your own body weight, if you have some dumbbells around, if you got a dog or anything that you can throw on your shoulders, that's up to you. But regardless, maintain the same mechanics, the same pace for this first set, which is 3 seconds on the descent, 1 second on the ascent. And if you do have that rubber band, you want to try and grab low enough that there's tension on that thing the whole way through that range of motion, not just at the apex of the movement. So grab low enough that there's still tension at the very beginning of that squat. You've got about 20 more seconds to finish this first set. Should be about 2 to 3 reps. Again, focus on your hips. Feel that pelvis tilt as you pull yourself down that squat. Feel yourself bounce over that whole foot, driving through that ball of the foot, and then you bring your pelvis back to level as you drive through that ball of the foot. Nora's got 30 seconds. You guys have 30 seconds. Do whatever Nora wants you to do.
Hops from side to side. So if you're at home, what I'm doing for your workouts is turning on my Sonos. So if you want your own music or Casper's speakbox.
All right, she's gonna keep doing that. We've got our second set coming. So like I said, that first set was gonna be a slow one. All the ones after that are gonna be a normal 1-1 cadence. You got 5 seconds to get where you gotta get. 1-1 pace, so 1 second down, 1 second up. Remember, this is not burn day, meaning we're not going super fast. We're not trying to get 50 reps in 50 seconds. We're trying to stay controlled. We're starting to feel the movement, but we are taking this at a 1-1 pace. So we're getting a higher rep, higher metabolites going on in the muscles. So you're gonna get more of that sensation, which is gonna be a good thing today. So you got 40 more seconds. Always be aware of how the body is going to want to try and cheat. Couple ways on this one. One, it's gonna put that weight on that back foot. It's gonna try and jump off that back foot. Fight that. Keep all of your brain power, keep all of your focus of keeping your weight loaded over that front leg, no matter what. If you need to take a little break because you cannot maintain the mechanics of the movement, you may do that. You also have the ability, instead of just completely taking a break, you can take your foot off that step and just turn it into a split squat. You don't actually have to have your foot up on something. So that is a second option for you instead of just completely taking a break. And now you may take your second set break. Nora's on go.
Play.
Be your own beatbox. If you got music in your house, play it loud. Play it so loud I can hear it. Go. You got 20 seconds. She's doing a plank. So as you're doing that plank, as always in any of our plank-like positions, you are pressing your body away from the floor so those shoulders are fully spread out. And as you do so, make sure that no point do you change that natural shape of your spine in the thoracic or the lumbar region. So keep that going on. You got 5 more seconds. Make your way to your feet. Third and final set of this movement. Again, this is a 1-1 pace. the second finisher. There's 2 finishers on this set, on this exercise. So first set was your nice slow, kind of warming up, get acquainted with the movement. The second 2 sets are just going to burn it out. So again, keep moving out of your pelvis. Make sure the knee is not dominating this movement. Make sure that back foot is doing absolutely nothing, or as little as possible. Think of it as just a depth indicator. It's not a structural supporter. That front leg is doing it all. And as you do this, keep that intent of the anterior core on the whole time. Finding that one to lead from your chest and flexing your spine, kind of faking like you're doing a deep squat when you're not. Keep moving out your hips, keep that normal curve in your spine the whole time. You got 15 more seconds where you are.
Nice work.
Keep it going. You got 15 more seconds. You still have 15 more seconds. Just kidding. You got 10 more seconds. It should be at least 2 to 3 reps.
Oh my goodness.
Control that descent, everyone. Control that descent. And finish that last rep. Perfect. Done. Take your break. We've got a minute off to do whatever Norm wants us to do.
I decided that we're going to do all abs today.
Okay, beautiful.
It's an abs day.
All right, so you've got a minute to do whatever she wants you to do. Up, side plank.
30-second side plank first. You can be on your knee or on your feet. Just making sure you're lifting up through your hips, lengthen through your waist. Breathe.
And as always, whenever you're supporting yourself on the ground, push your body away so that shoulder blade really spreads away from your spine, and have that intent on that supporting arm to create external rotation so that scapula presses into your rib cage and keep your shoulder in a nice safe position. You've got 20 more seconds. We're going to do that exact same movement that we just did on that first exercise, but now it's the other leg. So whichever leg you just did, switch to the other side. It's that simple. So again, grab your position, grab your step. You got 5 seconds to get there. Here we go, second exercise.
Other leg? Same. No.
Same, so back to that first cadence where you go 3 seconds down.
Same leg.
No, switching legs. So you should switch legs. Nora's not even paying attention to my instructions. How dare you? So 3-second descent. 1 second up. 3-second descent. So use this 3 seconds to really check in with how you want to move in this squat pattern. Again, this is a squat pattern. There's one way to squat, but there's 50 different squat patterns. We're going to do a couple of them today. So keep focusing on those mechanics. Remember, ball of the foot, ball of the foot, ball of the foot emphasis. Initiate that squat from your hip, initiate that squat from your hip, initiate that squat from your hip. I'm saying it 3 times because research shows people only hear 50% of what you say. And of that 50%, you only comprehend 40% of that. So you guys say things at least 3 times for people to get the damn thing once. You got 12 more seconds. Isn't that ridiculous? People hear 50% of what you say, and of that 50%, they actually comprehend 40% of that.
Wow.
That's bullshit. I want you to hear 100% of everything I say.
So
30 seconds, do whatever no one wants you to do. That's why you have to repeat
with
yourself.
Shoulder touches, so hips level, trying not to swing your torso, flat spine, breathe. What else you got? Neutral spine, not flat spine.
You're a natural spine shape, you're a neutral spine. If you've got a flat spine, something happened. If you've got a nice straight spine, something happened. You lost the curves. I don't know what it is. Okay, back on your feet. Same movement, different cadence. One pace, one pace, one pace. So higher rep. Again, initiate that movement out of your hip. Want to see the huge hinge out of that hip. As you're hinging out of that hip, your torso, your spine is going along for that ride as a passenger. There is no driving out of your spine. That thing is a passenger to what your hip is doing. So fight that one to lead from your chest. Fight that one as a human being. We're very cerebral. We want to start leading from our head. Fight that one to go out. Move from your hips. Spine's going along for that ride. Keep driving through that ball of the foot. Just keep that 1-1 pace. Get that higher rep. Get that higher sensation. And as always, fight that one to fall prey to cheating. No cheating allowed.
Killer.
Always focus on the mechanics of the movement, and like I keep saying every single day, breathe yourself through any discomfort. Welcome that challenge, guys. Welcome it. That's what we're here for, is get challenged. Prove that you can handle it, and take your break. Nora's on, go.
Back to side plank. Oh no, sorry. Forearm plank. Because we only have 30 seconds. We should have a physical focus challenge. PFX challenge. Speaking of challenge.
Let's start thinking. What can be the challenge?
3. You have to get 3 each day.
3
A
what?
workout.
Oh.
Nice. 8-hour eating window.
And back on your feet, your last set coming, and she'll keep thinking about her challenge.
And no sugar.
No sugar challenge for sure. All right, here we go. Last set on this leg. It's that 1-1 pace. Again, it's higher rep, higher sensation.
This one is so crazy.
With perfection of movement. Perfection of movement. Always moving from your hips and always having that understanding of the minutia of your body. Remember, we never want people to just go through the motions here at Physical Focus and in our PFX classes. We want you to feel how your body should move. Get connected with what is moving. Get connected with what is stabilizing it. In case you're not sure what that is, pretty much on this whole thing, that entire cylinder is a stabilizer. As that is stabilizing, we're moving out of our hips as much as we can, and we're driving through that ball of foot. You got 20 more seconds.
Go!
Really feel that hip move about the leg bone, and the leg bone move about the hip. So put your brain deep in that hip socket in and of itself. You got 10 more seconds. And just notice the more stable you are in that cylinder, the more that hip has freedom to move. And take your break. Take your break. Relax. Let's get this step out of the way. You've got 1 minute for me to show you the opposite. What we do? The resisted rotational squat. One of my favorite things in the world. If you have your rubber band, have that thing about waist height in your door. You'll step in it with your right leg. You'll rotate that thing behind your buttocks. You'll keep rotating until it goes the whole way across your body. So it goes from behind you to in front of you. We do a normal squat pattern. As we stand up though, you're going to rotate away from anchor point. So normal squat pattern, load up that inside leg, rotate away. If you do not have your rubber band, you are going to do a rotational lunge. And all that is you will stand on that right leg. Instead of doing a lunge backwards, if my right leg is pointing at 12 o'clock, I will step my left leg between 6 and 3. So I get that big rotation out of my hip as I descend and as I ascend. So again, 3 seconds on your lowering phase, 1 second as you come up out of it. So again, if you are in that rubber band, you stepped in with your right leg, you rotated so it went behind your cheek, and then it came the whole way across your body, so now it's in front of you. You're gonna squat down like a normal squat pattern, load up that inside foot, push off that inside foot as you rotate your hip opposite of the anchor point, you're straightening out your knee. You're again descending for that 3 second count. Your inside leg is doing all of the work. Your upper body is going along for the ride. The inside foot stays fully planted the whole time. There's no pivoting off that inside foot. So if you're doing this, foot is planted, load, drive, rotate. If you're doing the rotational lunge and you do not have the rubber band, remember, every squat pattern is the same. So if I did not see what your left leg was doing, your squat should look exactly the same as any other squat, meaning you're hinging out of that hip. You're driving through that ball of the foot, and if you look down, your knee is pretty much vertically over the ball of the foot.
Woo!
Nora, go. You got 30 seconds.
On the floor. Boat pose.
So again, as she's doing this, I'm going to keep talking about the mechanics of this rotational lunge. So again, keep looking down as you're doing this. Keep that center mass over top of that right foot as much as you can. And as you do this, have that thought. Again, if my back leg fell off my body, it would not fall over. Get back into it. You got your second set. Again, the first 2 movements, we are doing a 1-1 pace on the second and third set. So again, if you are doing these rotational lunges, those rotational squats with that rubber band, keep that inside foot planted, load that thing up in a normal squat pattern. The only thing different, instead of going straight up out of your squat, you're rotating away from the anchor point. It's almost like that first cycle, like you're going to take a first base, you're going to steal second. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
So you're up and rotate at the same time. It's not up, then rotate. You're going up and rotating at the same time. It often helps you on both the rotational lunge and the squat to think more about the rotation than the standing up. Standing up is the easy part. We are very linear as human beings. We sometimes forget how to rotate. So challenge yourself, regardless of which one of these you're doing, to get that rotation as the main focus point of this movement. Standing up is easy. Get the rotation. Put your brain in that ball and socket joint and feel that stuff happening. There's your second set. Take a break.
Stay in this.
You can stay in that.
And just lower down.
Well, you're gonna make people stay in the
Extra
squat. Are you
legs.
crazy? She's psychotic. If
I'm
you
not.
don't want to do that, I'll give you. Yeah, just watch her or just do a footwork. She's
They're
gonna
gonna do
break.
it.
So
They're
there's
doing
no
it
break.
at home.
No break on Nora. No break Nora. That's pretty much, I think, my new nickname for you.
You know who's for sure holding this pose right now?
Your mom. No break Nora, no break Annie. Runs in the family. You got your third and final set on this leg coming. So again, squat down like a normal squat pattern in the rubber band. Just as you rise, you're loading that right leg and rotating your body away. Fight that once on both of these to get upper body dominant. Fight that one, especially on the rotational lunge, to let your weight fall to that reaching leg. So both of you guys are really emphasizing that right foot on this movement. Your left leg is pretty much just for show in both the rotational squat and a rotational lunge. So you got 30 more seconds.
Woo!
And just notice, because we're not just getting linear extension out of the hip, we're getting rotation. The more stable you are in that cylinder, the more freedom you're going to get, the more movement, the more range of motion you are going to get out of your hip. But notice how your body's going to want to get laxed in that cylinder. And as you get laxed, you get more stiff. You get a little bit less range of motion in the hip. And take your break. That's your third one of those. We've got a minute off, so you can unwrap yourself in that rubber band. You can walk off. So you can do whatever Nora wants you to do. I'm going to get some water.
This abs day is for Leo. He's out there. He always wants to do abs, so we're doing abs today. All abs at our break. Nice. You guys make sure your knee doesn't go past your hip. Keeping it in line. Not using your hip flexor, but using your abs. Okay, so we're switching legs.
Switching legs, guys. We're doing the exact same thing. We're just switching legs. And as you're doing these rotational bicycle kicks there, still have that intent of not letting your back smash into towards the mat. Keep your normal spine shape as much as you can. Get back up on your feet. You got 10 seconds to start. Again, this first exercise on this one is that, or first set on this one is that slow descent. So if your left leg's doing the work on a rotational lunge, you will rotate that right leg between 6 and 9 o'clock, nice and slow and controlled, and then rotate yourself back. If you're doing a rotational squat, your inside foot is always fully planted. Your outside leg can get that rotation, but at no point are you letting that inside foot pivot. And as always, on both versions, both modifications, keep yourself super anterior core dominant, just like we did in the warm-up. Think about pulling yourself down from that psoas. So if it helps you put your hands on your fingers on your hips again, and feel that contraction as you pull yourself down, please do so. But again, focus on the mechanics of movement. Stay slow, stay controlled, move primarily out of your pelvis, your hips, and drive through that ball of the foot. And always, both designs of this movement here, the squat or the rotational lunge, make sure that left leg, or that right leg now, is doing nothing. It's all your left leg. And take your break, 30 seconds. 30 seconds, see psychotic hold again. If you do that rotational lunge, just watch her. That's all I'm gonna say.
No,
take a break. You can't take a break, it's Saturday for Christ's
No
sake.
breaks.
Take a break.
This is what we like. Monica's for sure holding too. Monica for sure.
Anybody with a mop?
No.
You got 10 more seconds. Is this our second set?
Second set.
Second set, so 1-1 pace. 2 more to go with this rotational lunge or your rotational squat. And here we go. So remember, it's a 1-1 pace, not a 1-1 pace. All right, so control 1 second. It's a lot longer than you think. So here we go. Keep going. You got 1-1 pace. 1-1 pace, loading that inside foot. Oh, the Brookins. I just saw the Brookins on there.
Woo!
So, load up that inside foot. Keep that normal curvature in your spine and both of these. And like I said a minute ago, emphasize the rotation versus the coming up out of it. Standing up out of it is easy. Focus on rotation. And if you're doing a rotational squat, when you squat down, make sure you're fully loaded on that inside foot to start. And then drive out of it. You get this really big preload, and then you finish fully rotated. You've got 5 more seconds on this second set. And take your break. 30 seconds off, 1 more to go, and then our lower body is finished, and we're going to transition to upper body. So as we're getting ready to transition to the upper body, if you have any dumbbells, we're going to do a shoulder press. If you do not have rubber bands, if you have the rubber bands, all you need is rubber bands. If you do not have the rubber bands and you have some dumbbells, gentlemen, up to like 20, 25 pounds, ladies 5 to 8 or 10 pounds would be ideal. You've got 5 more seconds on this little break, and then you get your third set of that 1-1 pace. So get ready. Focus on the rotation component. Put your brain deep inside that hip joint and feel what's going on in there. And again, feel how the more stable that cylinder is, the more freedom of movement you get. And the more freedom of movement you have when you do that, the more you're actually going to fire to create muscles to move you in that fashion. And then you get the snowball in that proper direction, right? The more you start moving the correct way, the more the body learns how to move. The more it learns how to move, the more function you have, the less dysfunction you have, the more freedom of movement you have, the less pain you have. It's just like, I don't know, heaven on earth. You got 20 more seconds. Keep going. This third and final set.
You should be a public speaker.
There will be a 1 minute break. And then we're going to do a shoulder press. If you had the rubber band, you got 5 more seconds, everyone. I'll talk in a second. Keep going the whole way through this.
Let's
Finish
go!
with as much rotation as you can. And take your break. 1 minute. Grab some water. Take a breather. She's going to stretch out her glutes. Again, lower body's done. We're transitioning to your upper body. If you have your rubber band, you will step inside of it. You will place that foot behind your body. So the rubber band is on the back. You can't see it, blends with my shirt. Your rubber band is behind your shoulders. And your rubber band is on the back part of your arm. And then from here, we're going to press up. And it's not just going to be a normal press. With the rubber band, I have you press up. And as you're pressing up, you're also going to reach out wide, getting this wide finishing position. All right? And as you press up in that wide finishing position, you're not just going to press up and go to the wide finishing position. You're also going to create external rotation and reach behind you. So it is a very scapular dominant movement. If you have your dumbbells, you can do a similar thing. You'll go up, press it into a Y, and pull your shoulder blades in towards your rib cage as you're reaching towards the ceiling as high as you can so your scapula are fully upwardly rotated. All right, and then get that press. So that inferior medial angle, you know what I'm talking about. You hear me talk about this all the time. That inferior medial angle, that bottom pointy part of your scapula is pressing in towards your rib cage. Nora can't stand still for 1 second. She's got to drop down and do something. Some sort of neuroses. I don't know what the condition is. I don't know what we call that yet, but there's neuroses. You've got 20 more seconds to get your weight or get your rubber band. And again, we're doing that nice slow descent so you can really learn that movement. And then that 1 second pace on the ascent. But again, feel your scapula really controlling this. So that front foot is going to step in. The rubber foot is going to step behind. I'll put the other foot in front. All right, here you go. So if you have that rubber band, it should be underneath your back foot. You should feel those shoulder blades fully articulate upward rotation, whether you have the rubber band or not. And if you have that rubber band, as you're pressing up above your head, when you get to the close to the apex, you're going to start reaching your hands out wide. And as you're reaching them out wide, you're also going to create that extra rotation as your thumbs rotate to the wall behind you. And as you do that, you should really feel your scapula pressing in towards the rib cage, which is what we want. And what's really going to allow this to happen at the most beneficial amount is you've got to keep that cylinder on, all right? We keep talking about this. This cylinder is the anchor point for all that squatting movement we do. So it's the anchor point for our hips to move upon. It's also the anchor point for our scapula to move appropriately upon. So if you start getting loosey-goosey in your whole torso, your whole cylinder, your scapula is not going to function and move the way it's supposed to move. You got your last rep, take your break. Nora, go. What are they doing? 30 seconds.
Plank.
Plank again.
Rocking forward back.
It's Leo core day.
It's Leo core day.
Oh, rocking back and forth. All right. So as you rock yourself back and forth, whether you're on your elbows or on your hands, really have that thought that you're pushing yourself back from your scapula, getting an upward rotation, and then you're pulling yourself through from the anterior core a lot more. You got 5 more seconds, and you get back up on your feet. Again, with the common theme, every second set is a 1 second pace on the ascent descent. But that does not mean you're flying through it. Still feel the shoulders articulate up. Feel the shoulders articulate down. Feel them upwardly rotate. Feel them downwardly rotate. So they're not just shrugging straight up, nor are they going straight down. It's an outward, upward rotation, downward, outward rotation. All right, and as you go up, remember if you have that rubber band, you're really trying to reach those hands apart at the top. As you're reaching apart, you're creating an external rotation and also reaching your thumbs behind you to get that scapula to press in towards your rib cage. Simulate the same thing if you've got your dumbbells or your cat or whatever it is you got, your canned food, your giant 1 gallon water bottles. Is that a little challenging? And again, stay braced, stay braced, stay braced. Cylinder on. And just like the lower body, the body is going to try and cheat by moving from something it's not supposed to move from, which is this. Your shoulder blades stop moving and your arms start doing all the movement. Fight that 30 seconds nowhere to go, and I'll keep explaining that. So, as you fatigue, the hardest thing for your body to do is to keep your shoulder blades moving in that nice upward out. God, I can't say that. In your nice upward outward rotation. Instead, they try and lock your shoulder blades still and just move only from your arms. So focus on that. Focus on feeling back up on your feet. Third and final set of this movement. Feel your shoulder blades dominate this movement, not your arms. Your shoulder blades are the leader. Your arms are the follower. Whatever direction your shoulder blades are moving, so are your arms. When your shoulder blades stop moving, so do your arms. Keep that in your brain, no matter what. Here we go. Keep going. You got 40 more seconds on this one. So one pace is your third set on the shoulder press.
Let's go.
Your shoulders should be getting exhausted. Be aware of how that cylinder's got to stay connected the whole time. And feel those shoulder blades move. If you need to take a little intercept break, by all means, take it. If you have that rubber band, it's getting too challenging. If you squat down lower, you'll make it easier because you're going to decrease the amount of stretch on that band. You got 15 more seconds. And then it's going to be a minute break. And in that minute break, I'm going to show you what this next movement is going to be.
Oh, man.
So, if you have that rubber band system set up, you're going to take that anchor point up high on the door. I will take that rubber band. We're going to do a banded resistant high hinge row. So, you're going to put it up high on the door. If I have my right hand in it, my right knee will go down. It's a typical pull down with that right arm. The only thing different is I go from fully hinged and hinged over, that when I come up, I pull and I bring my torso back to level, right? And it's not me bringing my torso back to level by arching my back. It's literally moving from that hip joint, bring my pelvis back to level. So that's that one. If you do not have the rubber band, you're going to be on your belly doing a hinge Y, a T to Y. So as you do this, your other arm can be here, but make sure you're not smashing your stomach in towards the floor. You're simply going to go from a T to a Y, from a T to a Y. And as you're doing that, your goal is to keep as much external rotation as you possibly can. So, regardless of which one you're doing, if you're doing the high row, you're pulling for a 1 count, releasing for 3. And as you pull, you go from hinge over and you bring yourself the whole way back up. And then you hinge back into it. As you hinge out your hip, your torso leans with it. As you bring the hip back to level, your torso comes back up to vertical. But regardless, you're feeling that shoulder blade dominate the movement, right? No arm dominance. If you were on the floor doing those prone T to Ys, keep your cylinder on. At no point should you be having your belly smash into the floor, right? And you're not going to suck it in by going, you're going to brace, you're going to shrink wrap that spine, and you're going to pull everything tight, and then you're going to keep that arm off the floor, and as you're going from that T, more of a W, T to a Y, you're trying to create external rotation. So again, take your break as you're doing whatever normal you do. I want you to watch this. Your head's down, you can support your head on the floor with your other arm. You're going to start with your elbow bent a little bit below your shoulder, elbows off the floor and your hand off the floor the same height. As I reach up into that Y, I'm trying to get my shoulder blade to upwardly rotate as much as I can as I'm externally rotating through my shoulder. Second set is coming.
Good job,
that
guys.
1-1 pace. So if you do have that rubber band, which everybody should have by now, if you do have that rubber band, focus on maintaining your normal shape of your spine. Focus on that hip hinge. That's what's bringing you into that leaned over position, and then just bring that hip back to level. So you're having that nice, beautiful moment of being able to get more hip hinging, more glute activation on this, right? As you take that hinge up to vertical position, feel how your hamstrings and glute are really assisting in bringing that pelvis back to level. But none of that's going to happen in a good accordance unless you have that cylinder on. So really have that intent of pulling yourself into that hinge, again, from that celibacy thing, from that anterior core. Feel that shoulder blade upwardly rotate, completely release at the top of that movement. And then downwardly, outwardly arc that shoulder blade as you pull from that elbow. Your hand is simply there going for the ride. You got 5 more seconds. So both the pull and the T to Y, you're staying on, and you take your break. That's your second set, 30 seconds. One more time to go, that 1-1 pace. She's belt posing. And again, if you're on your stomach doing those T to Ys, keep that intent of maintaining that same height of your elbow and the hand at the start, and as you go into your Y, your hand's gonna lift a little bit because you're trying to press that scapula in towards your rib cage. All right, here we go, guys. Third and final one on that side.
Let's go,
Same
let's go.
1-1 pace. And here we go. Full release. Remember to bring yourself back up to upright as you come out. Hinge over, full release of the scapula, bring yourself back up, and fight that one to lead from your head. This is you initiating movement from your hip and your scapula. So you've got the hip and your scapula working together. The scapula is downwardly rotating as the pelvis is coming back to level, and the scapula is upwardly rotating as the pelvis is hinging. If you are on the floor, your pelvis is staying perfectly still, your cylinder is equally on, and you're feeling that shoulder blade upwardly rotate as your arm's going above your head. You're feeling that scapula really press in towards this rib cage as you're at that apex of that Y, as that arm is going and the hand is going towards the ceiling, and your hand is externally rotating, your arm is externally rotating. So feel your scapula really move on both of these variations of movement. You've got 10 more seconds.
Let's go.
Keep going. Shoulder blade dominance, guys. Know that in both of these movements, your arms are going to want to try and lead that way. Fight that one. Shoulder blade, shoulder blade, shoulder blade. 1 minute off. Relax. Do whatever Norm wants you to do. All we simply have to do is switch sides.
Let's do another bicycle.
Perfect.
Bicycle day!
So even on the bicycles, fight that one to smash your low back into the floor. Doesn't mean you go into an excessive arch, but maintain your normal spine shape the whole time. There it is. Keep going. 30 more seconds.
Nice work, you guys. Keep it up. Good job, Coach Casper. You're getting us through it. On a Saturday.
On a Saturday. Get ready for your 2 inches of rain tomorrow. When's the last time it rained in April? Like a bigger rain? I can't remember. All right, 10 more seconds. Make your way back to your second side. Other side. Same movement. Other side. Same first set cadence. On the pull, you're going to pull for 1, and then you release for 3. You pull for 1 and release for 3. On the prone T to Y, you reach up for 1 and you bring it back down for 3. You reach up for 1, bring it back down for 3. And regardless, I notice when I say that, I say regardless. There's basically one syllable in my regardless. Regardless of which one you are doing, feel that shoulder blade move as much as you possibly can move it about the rib cage. So that rib cage is staying relatively still. It's not rotating. It's not, that thoracic spine is not flexing. It's not twisting. It's not doing anything weird. You're simply extending out your hip on the row of the pull down, and you're maintaining stillness by keeping that core really on as you're lying prone, so that scapula has something to move off of. Take your break. We got our second set coming.
Side plank.
Go, Nora.
Side plank with hip dips. Listen, DJ Roche right now.
It's tough not having music, huh?
What's the music situation?
We were told that the music sounds kind of shitty.
Oh, for Zoom. Yeah, I understand.
But
well, put on your favorite playlist at home.
Guys, I gotta be honest, I really like the music though.
Sing at the top of your lungs. Awesome.
And we got our second set coming, everyone. 1-1 pace. Well, what about us? What about our music? I think I might just wear headphones.
Just a small thing over.
Can I just wear headphones?
Yeah.
Is that cool with you?
That would be awesome.
We're listening to our own music. You're like trying to get this beat, and I'm over here going at a whole completely different beat.
Silent disco.
You got 40 more seconds on this 1-1 pace, your second set of our. Wait, we only have 1 more movement after this.
Woo!
You got 2 more sets of this one, 3 more sets of the very last one, and then you done. So again, 1-1 pace. Focus on the mechanics of the movement. If you cannot maintain the proper mechanics of the movement, take a little micro set break of like 10 to 15 seconds max, and then repeat. as always, we want you to move correctly here. We're never just trying to get a rep count. We're trying to instill proper movement patterns. So listen to your body. I keep saying over and over and over and over again about the scapula, about the cylinder, all that stuff. It's not just to hear myself talk, because I hate to hear myself talk. It's about getting your brain in connection with your body. Got it?
Got it.
You connected with
Thanks,
your body?
Coach.
20 more seconds on this side hip dip plank, whatever, what do you call this?
Side plank hip dips.
It's a side plank hip dip with an arm up position in the double leg stance.
5 more seconds. Final set of this movement. That's the thing about weight training. Like Pilates and yoga has like really cool names. Like this is the triple sow cow. This one's a fallopian tube. I don't know. They got all these ridiculous names, but everybody knows what the hell it is. When it comes to this, it's like, I don't know. It's,
Make it up,
it's
baby.
basically, you describe the exercise with a sentence. It's a...
It's a mouthful.
It's a side plank, vertical stand. It's like, okay, so watch
That's
this.
a good point.
Yeah, so we gotta make our own names up. Thanks for trying to make it universal. You've got 30 more seconds. Sorry you had to listen to that little, what do you call that?
I also suggest we have a PFX happy hour Zoom party.
Oh, well, I concur. You've got 20 more seconds on this final set, and we'll start thinking more about our PFX party. You got 12 more seconds. 1 second down, 1 second up, 1 second down, 1 second up. Still focusing on your scapula first and foremost. And then you get a 1 minute break for me to show you the last final exercise. So let's slide it. You might want to get the peachy one over there instead of this one. I'm going to show you this one. So if you have that rubber band up for your high row, and you've got a little bit lighter one, you might want to grab it. Otherwise, make do with what you got. This is that face pull. So you'll grab at the onset of tension at about shoulder width. You will grab with, if you can see, with your thumbs pointing already behind you. You will step back to where your hands are now above your head, but arms are fully stretched out in front. Your shoulders are fully pulled away from your shoulder blades, or spread apart as much as possible. As you reach those hands back towards your ears, you're also spreading them out, and from a side perspective, I'm trying to get that hand to go farther back than the elbow. If you do not have a rubber band, you're going to bend over and do reverse flies, where your thumbs face each other to start, and as you reach, your thumbs face the ceiling. If you have a little can or whatever you use for your last movement, you can use that. Otherwise, your thumbs might just be heavy enough. If you got a Rolex on, that could be heavy too. But regardless, as always, feel the shoulder blades moving. So if you are doing these face pulls, when your hands are out in front of your body, your shoulder blades should be fully spread apart. As you're reaching those hands wide, so they finish basically straight above your elbow, as you're reaching them wide and as you're rotating that entire arm bone, trying to get your hand farther back than your elbow, you should feel, as always, same thing, scapula pressing in towards your rib cage. Stay wide through the shoulders, but feel that scapula pressing into your rib cage. So if you can get an understanding of what we're doing here, we've been attacking getting that scapula to press into your rib cage. Right, we're going for the end result, but we're doing so many different ways to get it there. We're doing an upward rotation, getting it there. We're doing a downward rotation, getting it there. It doesn't matter which way we're going. Take your break. You got 30 seconds. We do all these crazy movements, but usually the end position is always something to do with that scapula being pressed into towards your rib cage. It doesn't matter if it's upwardly rotated or it's downwardly rotated. We always want to make sure from a side perspective that scapula is in a vertical or even it's called a posterior tilt position, and that's going to keep that shoulder joint nice and healthy. You got your first break almost ending in 5 seconds.
Oh, nice job.
Second set coming, 1-1 pace of this movement. We've got 2 more sets to go, and then you are finished on your Saturday morning.
Woo!
So, regardless of which one of these that you are doing, again, broken record, that cylinder is on. If you are hinged over doing these reverse flies, make sure that you are not solely supporting your spine via the posterior part of your body. Make sure it's not all of your erectors. Hold yourself from that anterior core as well. If a partner is sitting there watching someone do the workout, go ahead, reach over there and give them a little sucker punch and see if they've got that thing on. See if they've got it on. Perfectly fine. Make sure it's connected. The more connection you have there, the more stable that cylinder is, the more that scapula is going to have a nice support system to move from. You've got 15 more seconds on this second set of 1-1 or first set of 1-1 pace, second set of the movement, 5 seconds to go.
Good counting.
Right?
You get an A for counting.
Crushing and counting.
Skaters again. Push to the end.
Push
Push to the end.
Skaters again, give me something new. Give me a breakdancing move. Give me something cool. There it is. So that's her version. You do your version. You got 15 seconds. Nora's just gotta do whatever whatever squirrel voice in her head tells her to do. The squirrels told you to stop already? Alright, this is it, everyone. Last set, 1 minute, 1-1 pace. Finish off those shoulders. That was right in my ear. Keep going, move from the scapula, keep stable the whole way around. Fight that 1-2 shrug in either movement. Stay as wide through the shoulders as you can. This is the one where you're really getting to the end. Obviously, we're getting to the end of the workout. Duh. So your body's going to want to cheat. Fight that one to be arm dominant on this one. Still feel those shoulder blades controlling this movement pattern. And as always, when things get tough, we hold our breath. So breathe through this discomfort. Try and keep the mechanics of the movement as much as you can. But if you start to waver and get a little bit weird in it, I'm going to say it, wonky in it. You get a little wonky in it, take a little break, reset and repeat. You've got 15 more seconds.
Good work.
And then we are finished with this workout.
Finish strong.
And Nora will run you through a nice yoga-esque stretching pattern. Finish your move. You got 5 more seconds for this last and final set. What? Something funny about that? What did I say this time?
All your words make me laugh.
Words,
Good job, you guys.
word smithering.
Well done.
Perfect. As always, I will take the mic off. So
Inhale.
breathe. Oh, look, Shane came out of his cave.
So,
Wow. Hey, bud. Hey, bro.
You want to say hi?
Hey, nope. Nope, he doesn't.
Thank you.
Anyway, fuck you.
All right, taking 3 slow, deep breaths. Standing up nice and tall. Drawing your shoulders down and back, arms by your side. Powerful stance. Nice. Clasping your hands behind your back. Lift your chest. Staying right here or exhale, fall forward. Letting your head go. Bring your arms up. Exhale, release your grip, step it back to down dog, hips towards the sky. Spread your fingers wide. Turning your tailbone to face the sky. One more deep breath. Exhale, walking forward. Big step back with your right foot coming all the way up, warrior 2. Big bend in your front knee, inhale, arms up. Exhale, forearm to thigh, reach overhead. Spinning your chest open. Drawing your shoulder away from your ear. Inhale, center. Exhale, reaching up and back, hand above or below your knee, staying low in your thigh. Inhale, center, taking a small step forward with your back foot, triangle, hinging at your hips, hand above or below your knee, and then stretching out your shoulder, reaching your hand behind your low back. Nice work, you guys come all the way up to standing, switch sides, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, this is my tip of the day. For Saturday brunch, obviously eggs are good for you, but eggs are one of the only sources of vitamin D, which is really important right now for your immune system. And then sweet potatoes contain beta-carotene, which is a powerful antioxidant for the immune system. So sometimes we'll do a sweet potato hash with scrambled eggs. Last one, bring your hand behind your low back, dropping your chin down. And a healthier version of a screwdriver or whatever it is that you have in the morning. Instead of orange juice, you do
Jesus Christ.
crushed, I don't know, it's Saturday for these people, for all of us. Crushed pineapple, club soda, clean spirit vodka or tequila. Happy Saturday.
All right, hold on. I'm just saying bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
See you. Have a great Sunday. Day off from us. And we'll see you Monday.
Woo!
Enjoy the beauty.